Call to order the Lynchburg Planning Commission meeting for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. First order of business is the approval of the April 9th minutes. It's been a while since we met. So has anybody had a chance to look over those? Any motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
Second, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Great. All right, and we're now going to be hearing some public comment. Petitions open to public comment. Petitions or their representatives will be given 10 minutes to present their petition. Subsequent individual citizens wishing to speak will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes each, and representatives of an opposition group will be allowed a maximum of 10 minutes. At the end of the public hearing, there will be an allowance of 3 minutes for rebuttals. All right, our next order of business is to hold a public hearing on the petition of DIO Rentals LLC for a conditional use permit in a B5 general business district to allow the use of an existing structure as a multifamily dwelling with 4 units at 1115 Y Street.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good to be back with you, Planning Commission. This petition is for a conditional use permit, as stated, to allow the use of an existing structure as a 4-unit multifamily dwelling in a B5 general business district. The structure currently has 3 units. The property is zoned B5 and has been zoned that way since 1978. In this district, multifamily dwellings are permitted upon approval of a conditional use permit from council. Our future land use map recommends neighborhood commercial use for the subject property. It consists of 2,400 acres and contains a 2-story wood frame structure constructed in approximately 1905 and has 2,700 square feet. And as I mentioned, currently contains 3 existing dwelling units. The CUP petition here is for that 4th unit that they are seeking. In summary, the proposed multifamily dwelling should have limited impact on the surrounding area. There we go. It will be located within an existing residential structure adjoined by single-family detached and attached residential uses. As you can see on this slide, there are a number of residential uses on this block, as well as a small group of 4 row homes located just adjoining the property. The use as proposed would blend with the existing uses on the street. Approval of the CUP would allow for an additional residential unit without altering the zoning, and this would preserve the opportunity for future commercial uses to occupy the space, which would be more closely aligned with the future land use map designation for commercial. All residential units should be made to comply with the applicable building code requirements, and this is reflected in the recommended conditions in the report. The Planning Division recommends approval of the petition.
Great, thank you. Is there anybody here to speak for this petition? Anybody speaking on behalf? You represent the group? Okay. Please come. Yeah.
Sure. Yes. Would you mind? And if you would just write your name here.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Your Honor. This is my first time doing the court hearing, so I'm sorry for the logistics. But the property has been idle for a long time and was overgrown with weeds and grasses and, a lot of illegal occupation and activities happening in the property. So we spoke with the neighbors. Everyone is in agreement with, the reuse of the property for a multi-unit family. And there's a big parking space in the back that will accommodate anyone who is residing in the home. So.
Great, thank you. Great. Anybody here to speak in favor of this petition? Okay, anybody here in opposition to the petition? Have we had any emails, voicemails, or anything? Okay, great. At this point, the public hearing is closed, so we can go ahead and discuss. Any questions?
Yes. Currently it's 3 units, and you just want to convert it to 4? Yes. Okay. Is there anything else in the building?
You referenced the parking lot? I'm assuming, just as an anecdote, that you have permission to use that lot for this?
The parking lot is actually in the property, but behind the house.
That's,
Yeah, it's
that's
like
on
the
the
driveway.
property.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
in the backyard.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
And we're in compliance for the 3 units.
I believe they're probably non-conforming, meaning sort of the grandfather term that people use. Yeah. Yeah, and they have submitted, well, you can see in the packet, they've contracted with an architect to get the building plans drawn up to be in compliance with building code at this point. It did appear that some work had taken place, maybe without a permit, a couple of months ago. So they were placed under stop work order and advised that they need to get this conditional use permit in order to get that 4th unit. So they have put construction on pause and are seeking this, and then we'll go through the proper building permit procedure.
Any other questions or comments? I'm sure you can have a seat.
Thank you.
That's fine, thanks. Anybody have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the conditional use permit.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second, all right. Any other comments before we vote? All right, let's go on ahead and vote. All in favor of the petition, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No? All right. That's great. Thank you. It moves on forward to City Council. Thanks. Have a good day.
Good luck.
All right, the next item we will be hearing is the petition of Mary Janes LLC to rezone approximately 37 thousandths of an acre at 826 Kemper Street from I-2 Light Industrial District to B4 Urban Commercial District to allow for use of an existing first floor as retail and the addition of a second floor for use as short-term rentals. So if you could
Thank
present
you
them.
again, Mr. Chair. As mentioned, this property is currently zoned I-2 Light Industrial District, and it has been zoned that way since 1978. A restaurant formerly operated in this building as a non-conforming use. However, the restaurant discontinued for a period of more than 2 years, and in order to go back to a similar use as that, a rezoning is necessary. Our future land use map recommends employment 2 uses for the property. These are intended to include uses like manufacturing and large-scale office, but restaurant and business service uses are also appropriate as they can serve those more intense employment uses. The property is currently vacant and in poor condition. Rezoning the property would allow for reuse. If approved, the owner plans to use the building as a gift shop, serving coffee with some light food options, and as well as an addition of a second story containing 2 small short-term rental units. The B4 Urban Commercial District permits these uses. Given its proximity to Kemper Street Station, as well as Amtrak, Amtrak and our transit system, this property is well positioned for redevelopment and could serve as a nice amenity for nearby transit users. The Planning Division recommends approval of the rezoning petition.
Great, thank you. And who is here to speak on behalf of the petition? Great, please come forward, state your name, sign there on the form, and tell us a little bit more about it.
Good afternoon. My name is Casey Service. I'm the architect for the project. And Rachel covered pretty much all of it. The footprint of the existing building is just under 1,200 square feet. And while it's not quite property line to property line, that's just about what it is. There's a little bit of a backyard and a side yard. So even the employment, the future land use, other opportunities in the flume are for larger properties that wouldn't fit into this small parcel, and we're sort of landlocked between the transit station and everything. So we feel like this is the best potential use, and getting the second floor helps us to sort of recoup some of the costs of bringing the first floor back into a usable condition.
Great. and you might want to stay
Yep.
there for a second. Anybody here to speak in favor of the petition? Any opposition? I imagine there's no emails or anything like that, so I think we can close the public hearing and address any questions to you. I think it's a
Sounds good.
really interesting proposal, one of the neater ones we've seen in a while of reusing some property.
When are you hoping to open this up?
Our plan is to go to city council next month, and then once, knock on wood, we get approval there, and I'll dive into finishing up the drawings and start construction, hopefully end of the year, beginning of next. And then it's only 2,400 square feet, so shouldn't take too long.
So the bottom unit's going to be one, you plan on it being one business or two different
Yeah, it's
businesses?
one, and it is one business now.
Right.
We sort of see it almost as like a gift shop side and a coffee shop side, but it'll all be open.
So is there actually, it looks like a second level in the drawing, but on the.
We're adding a second level because the roof is collapsed, so we have to rebuild the
Okay, you're
roof
actually
anyway.
adding a second level to it.
And so we're proposing to add a second level. Structurally, it's not a huge leap to go one more story on the existing.
What are you planning to do with the exterior? I mean, is the whole building going to be congruent?
Yeah, our plan is to, these are very sort of gestural. We haven't really dove into it, but the train station across the street has similar awnings to what we're showing here. The one half of the existing first floor is already stuccoed, so I think right now we're leaning towards doing a similar treatment downstairs, and then we'll explore different options for upstairs to help sort of bring it all into one cohesive.
Does the city have any requirements on that, Rachel, as far as appearance where the railroad track is, or the railroad station, rather?
I don't believe this area falls into the historic district.
Don't really care, I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, technically, I guess because we're asking for the B4 rezoning,
yeah, there
then there
are.
are some requirements in
That's true.
B4 for the way it looks.
Yeah, we discourage corrugated metal and, that sort of thing. But it is pretty flexible, brick, glass, some metal is fine. But
So it's gonna be more like a bed and breakfast on the
Yeah.
upstairs, and how many units will you have up there?
Just two, it's
Just
two
two
one-bedroom,
two-
600 square
Two
foot
one-bedrooms.
units that you'll just access from the backside off of Langhorne Street on the side.
Where's the pool going to be?
That's on the 4th floor.
right next to the gym.
At the third.
Infinity pool?
Rachel, do you, if it was just short-term rental request and no retail, would it be the same petition or would it be something different?
That's an interesting question.
I don't think short-term rental is in I-2.
I
We went
don't think
through
so.
pretty, line by line, the I-2 options, and none of them really fall in line with
Let's see.
Um,
I2 light industrial.
what this building is in its current.
And the reason I'm asking,
It's actually, well, let's see. That's RC, never mind.
While she's looking that up, the other
Yeah, yeah.
interesting thing is if you go on Google Street View, I was checking to see when the roof collapsed. You can go back in time. If you go through on the Langhorne side, you can look down on it. You can watch it slowly collapse
wow.
over 10 years.
Not permitted in I2, yeah.
Yeah.
so the reason I'm asking, because we have seen examples where the retail has been part of the petition to get the petition pushed through, and then it's never open, nothing's in the retail. And so basically it was done so that we could get the residential or short-term, whatever they were asking, in the upper floors. And so there's no way for the city, if this thing were to never open on the first floor, we have no recourse, right?
It would,
Still be considered mixed use if it never opens, which means it would be.
Or legitimately, if it did go, you know, if all intentions were solid, but it went out of business on the first floor, what would happen then?
I mean, that's something we're actually looking at with the, I can't recall the date, but Planning Commission updated or instructed staff to look at B4 ground floor residential uses and promoting commercial downtown in our B4 district on the ground level. And that is kind of a discussion point of, well, you can require it or prevent residential on the ground floor, but that doesn't necessarily mean the retail space is always going to be rented out. I mean,
There's too many examples of that downtown right now.
yeah, so if there were to
Well-
be a condition added or something like that, or even a proffer, and they said, well, it will be
I mean-
retail on the ground floor, there's no guarantee.
Right, you can't
that-
force someone to stay open if they're going
Yeah.
out of business.
I will say
but-
anecdotally, it seems like something that Amtrak users would certainly like.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
I'd love the idea. I think it's a perfect
And
spot for
we
it.
got the comment from the transit folks too, that they constantly get that request.
No, I think
So we're
it's,
fingers crossed. And to be, upfront, when I first talked to the owners, their initial thing was to add a second story and just do it all as a restaurant. And as we were thinking about it, it's almost sort of the opposite of what you were saying, where we're adding the short-term rentals so that there's some potential, like, long-term, mix of use, so that at least the building's bringing in some income.
right.
Are you planning to be the owner and runner of the condo
No,
shop?
I'm just the architect for the project.
So is there somebody already in mind to occupy this space?
We've started having discussions with people, yes.
Okay, so they don't technically have a stake in this. In other words.
No, the
partial
owners of the building have the stake in this part, and
Okay,
they're
so
looking for an operator
That gives
for
some
the
potential
space.
reality to what Dave is saying.
Sure, I mean, I think
Yeah.
there are some coffee shops that have closed downtown. This would be a perfect spot for them. And again, I'm just bringing that issue up because we have discussed it in other situations, and I think it's worth being aware of that.
Yeah,
Um,
there is that
That
possibility.
we have seen that happen, some of it intentional, a lot of it not intentional. It's just the facts of businesses, so.
The good thing about the B4 zoning is that it is so flexible in terms of the allowable uses, and there's no parking requirement. I think it's an ideal thing in this case because it's a postage stamp of a property,
Yep.
So it's not like we have to worry about, we rezone it to B4 and it opens up all these uses and 100 people are coming there every day now.
Yeah, no, I think any business
Yeah.
is gonna be successful, and it's certainly gonna be an improvement over what's there now. And I think it's obviously free parking all around it. There's no reserved parking dedicated to that.
Yeah, so like right now, the transit station is all signed as no parking, but from what we can tell, it doesn't look like they're really using that building that's there anymore. It's really just used as the hub. So I think if it ever came to it, I think there's a potential
Yeah. Well, there's on-street
to talk to
parking.
them. And then all the on-street parking
Right.
is,
Yeah.
there's some of it across the street is zoned as no overnight, but for the 2 short-term rentals, there's enough space
Sure.
just right in front of
Well,
the building.
and if someone's coming in on the train, they wouldn't
Exactly.
car anyway.
Exactly.
But I guess,
I worked at the registrar's office the last few years, and it's parking on the side, right beside your building there, on the street as you come down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an amazing number of people. Yeah, I went by there either Friday night, Saturday night, the lot there was full. So a lot of people are riding. I think there's a lot of business opportunity, even if someone did fail, there'd probably be somebody else who'd be like, I want to have a go at it, a bike shop or something like that, yeah.
I mean, it's too good of a
Yeah,
location.
that's a nice idea. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept.
Second.
Okay. All right, any other comments? All right, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor of the petition, say aye. Aye. All opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Great.
Good luck
Thank
at
you.
City Council.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for coming and
Thanks,
seeing
Casey.
us. We have one more thing. Next, we're going to hear the petition of Martin Ridge Homes LLC to rezone approximately 1 68/100ths of an acre located at 663 Leesville Road from R1 low-density residential to R4C high-density residential district conditional to allow for 14 townhomes. So who's going to present that? Great, thanks.
All right, members of Planning Commission, the purpose of this petition is to rezone approximately 1 6/800 acres from R1 Low Density Residential District to R4C High Density Residential District Conditional to allow the construction of 14 townhomes located at 663 Leesville Road. The comprehensive plan future land use map recommends a medium-density residential use for a majority of the property. The other portion of the property adjoining Burton Creek is recommended for resource conservation use. Medium-density residential areas are characterized by small lot, single-family detached housing, duplexes, and townhouses at densities up to 12 units per acre. Where neighborhoods exist, infill development should be at a compatible density and housing type. In addition to residential uses, they may include public and institution uses compatible in scale with single-family residential homes. The subject properties were annexed into the city in 1976, and the existing R1 low-density residential district zoning was established in 1978. The property is bound to the north and east by single household uses and to the west across the road by residential uses. The 14 proposed townhome units would become part of a townhome development to the south, which was approved by City Council on May 27, 2025. The development is not yet under construction. Beyond that, the development is bound to the south by townhome-style apartments. If the petition is approved, the existing one-story single-family dwelling would remain. The remainder of the property would be developed as 14 townhome units with 6 two-story units and 8 single-story units. The proposed development should have limited impact on the surrounding area. Substantial compliance with the plan has been proffered, and other proffers include for-sale units and exceeding parking requirements. The existing single-family dwelling is proposed to remain, and the additional 14 townhome units, access, and associated parking would tie in with the previously approved townhome development to the south. Residential uses adjoin the property on all sides, and as shown, the concept plan includes the required 20-foot vegetative buffer adjoining the R1 low-density residential district to the north. The proposed development density for the 15 dwelling units located on the subject property would be 11.29 units per acre, which would be below the density threshold as recommended by the future land use map, which is up to 12 units per acre in the medium density residential category. Additionally, work is not proposed in the flood zone, which is consistent with the FLUME recommendation for resource conservation in that area. The Technical Review Committee reviewed the petition on August 19th, and comments were minor in nature. The Planning Division recommends approval of the petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's here to speak on behalf of the petition? Please come forward, state your name and sign in, please.
All right, my name is Jake Leonard, and I'm here with Nixon Land Surveying representing Martin Ridge Homes. So thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members, for your time tonight, and thank you, Rachel, and your team for all your work on this so far, last time and this time. So just a quick kind of history on this project to bring everybody up to speed on why we're just now asking for this rezoning request for this parcel. So as most of you are already aware, City Council recently voted to approve the rezoning of 665, 667, and 669 Leesville Road from R1 to R4, with our client planning to build a townhome development. We've combined these 3 parcels into one for a 54-unit townhome development. Our client had been trying to acquire 663 next door for years, but were unable to do so. The owner, I believe is the owner's father or grandfather, actually lived in the house, and he didn't want to make them have to move, so they wouldn't sell. Days after we got 665, 667, and 669 rezoned, they were contacted by the owner of that home saying the tenant had passed away, and they were now able to acquire this parcel. So that's why we're now bringing this to you for asking rezoning of this parcel to add it to that townhome development. So we take this 1.6 acre parcel, leave the existing single-family residential dwelling, and add more units behind it. So I know one of the big issues your board had last time was protecting residential single family. So we have actually proffered substantial compliance to incorporate the existing single family home into the plans here. It would get a new concrete sidewalk going over to the sidewalk you'll see on the plans, and a few parking spaces there. Which brings me to my next benefit of adding this is the entrance. So we actually would be removing that existing driveway and combining that traffic into our new proposed entrance for safety on Leesville Road, removing an access point. And then then the third benefit would be actually adding 8 single-story units that we've actually had people reach out to us and ask for. We had phone calls from elderly people when the last rezoning went through and it was in the news and stuff. They saw it and called us, begging our client to build them a 1-story unit because apparently the elderly and handicapped people are having trouble finding those. So we'd like to build eight single-story and then 6 more identical to the other units below it. And then it actually lowers our total density calculation as opposed to the last plan. So the density calc of this new portion would be 11.29 dwelling units per acre, which is below the flume. So in conclusion, I think this is an opportunity to make an already nice proposed development even nicer while protecting the single-family dwelling, adding more traffic safety by taking away an access point on Leesville Road, and providing single-story housing for people who need them. So thank you for your time, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts and comments on this.
Great, thank you. All right, is there anybody here to speak in favor of the petition? Please sign your name. You know how we do this.
Hello, gentlemen. Chairman, thank you all for the time to come and speak in favor of this project. I'm working with Jacob and Martin Ridge Homes on this project. You know, when Mr. Martin contacted us about the purchase of this property and adding it to this project, days prior to that, I had 4 different folks contact me about asking the question, are any of these developmental townhouses single story? One of the ladies, an older lady, asked, is it going to be single story? He'd be a hero if he would make sure some of these properties had single story dwellings on it. Slab on grade housing. And if you look at the pictures that you see on the bottom left corner, that's an example of the 1-story units. That's at Lake Walk in Campbell County. It's a really nice retirement style home, and they are beautiful. Those actually have some garages on them. These will not have garages on them, but we felt like if the client was going to move forward with this type of project and include this in this development, it would just tie right in great and help you all and the city feel better about what we're doing. Like Jacob said, the entrance closure of the house does protect and help Leesville Road. You know, right now, the basic way this is going, we're going to be shutting down at least 3 driveways along Leesville Road and have 1 access point instead of 3, based on the original development design. So I feel like this project moving forward is going to be better for this area. And I know Mr. Woodson had a lot of concerns about the traffic along Leesville Road coming in and out of here. As before, we still have a right in, right out only entrance shown, or a pork chop style entrance shown, which is what our intent is, to force those folks to go to the right instead of crossing Leesville Road and going left towards Greenview Drive. Anyway, I'm here to help technically with other questions y'all might have. If you have any, please let us know. But I hope you all will vote to support this as the planning department has requested approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here to speak in favor of the petition? Or anybody here in opposition of the petition? Okay, and have there been any emails?
I have a point of order.
Okay.
That I don't know if it's relevant. I have a bid on some business with Nixon right now who's advocating for the project. So I don't know if that counts as a conflict of interest or not, since they're not necessarily the primary principals in this development.
So you're saying you have a potential
I'm putting in a bid
that
for a project.
that
and
you'd like to disclose?
They are bidding a portion of the contract. But again, it
Is
doesn't
it
have anything
related to this
It doesn't have anything
petition?
to do with this.
It's a North Carolina project.
It's a North Carolina.
He wouldn't have known.
You may not like what I have to say.
Chuck, I think it's fair to say I have this, I'm revealing this, but I can still be impartial in my consideration, and that's one approach.
I can't. be
Or you could
impartial
or
because
you
I
could
think they're
or you could
unfortunate to find
recuse
out
yourself.
So,
Yeah.
I don't, if there's no obvious issue, I won't recuse myself. I don't necessarily need to do so, but
Okay.
I do want to bring that up.
All right.
I would prefer you recuse yourself.
I did. Probably will, unfortunately. Sorry beforehand.
Well, we've asked for support and opposition, have heard none, so we're going to close the public hearing and, begin with questions. I think, first of all, Rachel, when we heard this, I think the Planning Commission voted against the initial petition, correct?
Planning Commission did. The planning staff also recommended denial. That was prior to the addition of their proffers, which clarified that they would be doing townhomes for sale. And since R4 also allows apartments, they proffered basically the site plan, which limits the density to the number of units that are shown, and it is going to be townhomes for sale, not apartments, which R4 also permits. So, yeah.
And Eve, you said this, what was the by right density?
Well, the
Or-
density recommended by the flume
Okay.
is 12 units per acre, up to 12 units. Mm-hmm.
For all 68 units, and these are going to go in conjunction with 54, they're there. We're looking at just this single entrance exit. Turn to the right on Leesville, which, if I'm coming out of there, frankly, if I need to go downtown, I thought I was going to be seeing a lot of U-turns right there in the middle of Leesville Road coming out of there, but just initial thought. So is that the only entrance or exit for all 68 units?
So this parcel will be combined with the other one as far as entry into Leesville Road.
Yes, sir.
There'll be no entry to Leesville Road from this petition here.
It'll be a shared entrance.
It'll be shared with the other property that you just purchased.
And if one of you might want to come forward, that way the public can hear your comment.
We have pretty much doubled our parking area on this project now. This property that you're reviewing now is going to be part of and combined with the original rezoning request. They will share the exact same entrance onto Leesville Road. So no concern of a second entrance. There's only going to be one entrance into all of the property. So, which is a positive because we're getting rid of the other homes, going to get rid of the other dilapidated homes, I might add, and the other driveways that service them. So that'll be a benefit. It will also allow for us to have a longer taper for our entrance into it, which makes it safer along Leesville Road. And what else can I tell you? I mean, we're also leaving the existing home there, which is a nice feature because it's actually a very nice house, very well taken care of house.
Would you refresh us as to where the entrance had been on that plat?
The original ingress?
Yeah, can I say one thing about that? Yeah, actually, that reminds me of one thing I forgot to say, so thank you. Actually, if this gets approved, one thing it allows us to do is shift the entrance up to be straight across from North Street for safety, which before we weren't quite able to do by the time we added the 20-foot vegetative buffer on the north side. So this actually would allow us to slide it up straight across from North Street, which would be a safer entrance.
So if this is not approved, they still can't adjust the entrances?
Correct. I mean, they wouldn't have this extra room to work with. So the entrances, the driveways for the single family would be closed, but the right in, right out would not be located directly across from North Street, which ideally you have entrances lined up with other entrances or other streets just to reduce conflict points.
But why couldn't it still be shifted if this is not approved?
Because there would have to be a 20-foot vegetative buffer between this existing property line, because this northeast 663 would still be R1.
Okay.
So we'd have to have a 20-foot vegetative buffer.
That 20-foot allowed us to pull that entrance up and make it a more engineering safety concern design. I think it makes sense to pull it north and towards the house and help both North Streets in that project.
I just have a detailed question. How is trash removal handled here? Or is it planned for the city to come by and pick up, or is there going to be
We will
dumpster?
we will end up with dumpster designs on here.
Okay.
We're not going to rely on, now I will tell you on the HOA documents that my client's putting together, they do have a requirement for a personal pickup, but they're also going to provide a dumpster pad, individual dumpster pad.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, that was not proffered, but I do know that's one of the things I've discussed with Mr. Martin.
So there is an HOA.
I'm sorry?
So there is an HOA
Yes.
for development.
Oh, yes.
And Rachel, I have one question for the city. When the city says they recommend accepting the proposal or following through with this, does that mean, for example, that the water department has reviewed the increased loading on domestic water and sewage, and
Yes.
says that's okay?
Yeah, the technical review committee is made up of representatives from various departments, police, fire, water,
Yeah.
engineering, trash,
All right.
and others. And now, they don't get into as detailed of a review as they would with a site plan.
Right.
But that is the purpose of having everyone on that meeting, is to identify any kind of showstoppers or big issues that might prevent this development from taking place once they get to the site plan phase. So yes, they have been consulted on this.
Okay. All right.
I missed it. Can you remind me of why the house's single unit is remaining?
It's in pretty good shape, and they really didn't want to tear it down. They felt like they could leave it there either as a rental or for sale, either one. I believe what Martin told me was he was going to sell it as an individual lot, and it will be the property you see there at the front. So he didn't want to destroy it.
I think,
And it did, and I'll tell you something, it didn't give us any benefit to try to put more units in there coming back towards Leesville Road, and by having a home there, it was just an amenity that could stay and be profitable.
So if it comes up for sale, you all won't try and buy it and add it to this?
Oh, it's
down
gonna
the road?
be like it is. I mean, we're gonna redo the property like we show on our site plan. So they're gonna have access to the parking lot and use it as a parking area for the house.
Is the house, the land that the house is on, is that going to be zoned R4 also, or?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
It's zoned R4.
so it's
It's all
all-
part of the exact same, everything here.
Yeah. So if you sell it, it'll be sold as R4?
It can be sold as R4 once
Okay.
it's rezoned,
Okay.
yes.
does the proffer, though, follow that land? Like if you proffer to develop it as you are, does that mean that house will stay that way?
Yes. So what we've done is substantial compliance to the site plan.
Right. That's
So what our site plan shows today that you're going to approve with a new sidewalk down to the proposed sidewalk, that's how we have to build it per the site plan. So yes, that home would stay there.
We've been getting signals from council about projects like this that have been, I feel, somewhat negative. Like we don't want more of this, and that, I think, was one of my thoughts on my vote against this the last time. But obviously, there's a difference in thought. But I also like that there are some single floor units. I have a basement that serves a lot of a business serves a lot of elderly people, and those places are really popular. I think we have a need for more of that kind of development. So I lean towards really liking this, and probably will be supporting it.
Okay, on the other side, we apologize. Take the first, kind of where I'm at on this. The reason, if I recall, this didn't pass, the city recommended this last time, too. Is that right, Rachel?
Planning staff recommended denial prior to them submitting proffers, so that's what went into the report. We talked about it here.
I mean,
I believe-
the original 54 units? Okay.
Yeah, they did not have proffers when we wrote the report. They submitted them after. I believe what we discussed here was that planning staff would lean towards approval with the addition of the proffers because it gave clarity on what they intended to actually build. Planning Commission recommended denial, and then ultimately City Council approved it, so.
Planning Commission has recommended denial of these things in the last couple of years for the reason that the lower two-thirds of the city have been inundated with urban density thinking. And if you live in the lower there's all the property you want to develop ever up in the northern part of the city, Boonesboro area. The chances of developing that are get ready for a fight. Lower two-thirds of the city, we are about out of space. And the evidence that we're out of space is that we're having to do more and more of this, come rezone areas that are otherwise R1. City Council's take on that has been to deny, to not rezone any more R1 into multifamily. And if you live in the city, as I do, you will have experienced the traffic on Timberlake on the weekends or during rush hour or on Ward's Road or 29 South coming out of the city, or Candler's Road. It's getting worse and worse and worse. So while I'm certain these are going to be very fine units and it's well designed, to me this goes against the very thing we're trying to do. And not to disparage any of the work you guys have done. You've done fine work. But the thinking that puts this into place kind of puts the city's staff in some cases at odds with city council. City council recommended don't do it, and the city's recommending do it. But then sometimes the city will go ahead and say yes. So regardless of whether it comes out of here, you get obviously a second swing at it. It doesn't, and and who knows what the city council is going to do. But for my part, because I live in the city and I'm experiencing this every day, I can't personally see it playing a part in putting any more of this in the areas that I live in, while we've got parts of the city that are completely undeveloped like this, and they're getting single-family houses.
Here's something I want to point out, and I pointed this out to city council last time. For single-family residential developments to happen in the city, and this is just me dealing with it for the past 30 years, and forgive me, Rachel, the ordinance is required to build single-family residential developments in the city of Lynchburg are so strict.
Yes.
Curb and gutter streets, sidewalks, street lights, those three things alone. The cost to develop for single-family residential, you're not going to build a home that can afford the infrastructure and sell it.
That's
So
a problem.
something I recommend to y'all is to possibly look at the ordinances and figure out something that can become a better fix for the ordinances. I don't want to call it a deregulation.
Call it that.
It
Yes.
can be, but at the end of the day, for single-family residential to be built, and you want to know why you're seeing townhouse developments coming to y'all, it's because of that reason right there. People can't afford to build single-family residential developments with the amount of stringent. Now, you're an MS4 entity, stormwater requirements, that's going to happen no matter what. That's going to drive your cost up. But the ordinances need to be looked at as a requirement for street design, sidewalk requirements, street light requirements. That's driving your cost up for single-family residential. And when that happens, you get this.
Yes, and it's by design, because it's a manner of thinking in city planning. And it's not just going on here, it's going on over the country to bring people into the cities, create urban density. And so these kind of regulations are often implemented to do exactly what you're talking about. It's not by accident, and it's done under the guise of beautification. But
Let's talk about this individual property by itself. Let's say this entire tract of land was all one tract. To build the infrastructures based on the city requirements, they would have to get a certain number of houses to make it affordable to put those infrastructures in. This piece of property alone could not afford to do that. You couldn't do it. That's why this townhouse development design does work from a cost standpoint. And they're able to sell for $220,000 to $300,000 townhouses and make it work. Because
we have a lot to talk about, like what Chuck's saying, the lack of single-family development. I don't think this is that everything hinges on this one project, but I think there's a lot of really good points. And in comprehensive plan, there's in the way we even use our lot sizes and things like that need to be addressed as well. But I do want to stick with this one thing, and get an answer for that. So.
Well, I mean, I think everyone knows I'm Mr. R1, second to Chuck maybe. If this, and I voted strongly against this original proposal, and if this were to come before us like that one with just this addition, I would still be voting against it. But that proposal has been approved, it's happening, and if we can make it better, and if we can make it safer, and I'm being consistent because I've done that before. There was some similar situation in the development behind the Kroger on Timberlake where I voted against it, and they came back with some revisions, and I supported that. So in this case, I don't like the big project, but if we can make that big project a little bit better, then I'm gonna support that. So I'm trying to be consistent and why I'm supporting that and not going against previous votes. So my take home is I'm supporting this. And I'm calling it a revision, basically a revision. But I'm still glad to have you, Chuck, express your opinion and stay strong because, yep, and I think that's good. I think it's important to send a message to council that we are still taking that seriously. What's going on with the R1. So.
Any other comments?
Make a motion to approve the petition.
Okay,
Second.
second, okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
All right, so 5-1. Thank you, good luck at city council. Thanks for bringing that to us. And it seems like we're in a lot of issues, not just that, but also some of the things I've been seeing lately. There's been some questions, and one of the things I've been talking to some people about was battery storage, and we ran into that in rezoning and thinking about planning. And now we have this data center question because of the building downtown. Yeah, but not only that, it's just Caroline County just approved a 670 acre. I know we won't have anything that big in Lynchburg, but do we have any plans like for how to address this? Because I think Pennsylvania County, they're up in arms about whether to do this or not. They've got one approved.
IT center? What is this?
Data centers, and so there was one that was, somebody had noted that a building had been bought downtown by a company, like a data center.
Is it AI?
I don't know enough about it. But that is one of the hot topics, I think, right now around the state. Apparently, like over 30% of all data centers in the world are in Northern Virginia, and they're spreading out. So do we have any?
Power issues,
Yeah, and
So-
water. So do we have any thoughts, or is there something that staff should be doing to consider this before we do have a proposal come up and we're all like, oh, what do we do? We got the batteries,
Yeah.
because we were kind of at a loss at that point.
So we do have data center uses allowed in certain districts in our zoning ordinance, including commercial areas. So and it's never really come up for us. Usually when you think of a data center, you think of miles and miles of open land and thousands and thousands of square feet of basically warehouse space. But if it is something that is of concern to the commission, you could direct staff to, pursue potential, to kind of do an analysis of where we are with our zoning ordinance, because although it is a listed use, it's never really come up for us. And it certainly hasn't come up in the context of today's data center with the power usage and other utility impacts that they may have. So if that's something of concern to the Planning Commission, you could instruct staff to potentially, kind of do an analysis of where we are and potentially bring back recommendations on, if we think we need any adjustments, we could do, kind of a presentation to let you know where we are and maybe what some other localities are doing to give themselves, more leeway about where these go or don't go, if that would be helpful to the commission.
What do you all think? What are your thoughts?
I don't think it could hurt.
Yeah, I think we need something, it'd be nice to have some position from the city or definitely some discussion about it. What the discussion would be.
Is this an
I think it
offending
would be
thing?
good
Have you
to-
heard about
Well, no, but we've had multiple counties now,
trying to get ahead?
ahead of the game. And then the things we ran into with battery storage, you and I talked about that. That's one of those things that, there's some opinions, but there's people who know better, who can inform
That's
us.
what I thought it was, that when that battery storage at Bruce's Dam came before us, a lot of us, it was just a new topic.
Right.
We didn't know what to do.
And I think even,
So I think this type of data storage facility is also a new topic for us. I would welcome being educated.
There's a 500,000 square feet on the expressway that's up for lease. I mean, that's kind of that would be a building that you could see the owner saying, I'm going to do this, I think it's I-1 or I-2, whatever that, it's where the Meredith Bird, I can't think what the last company that was in it, big printing company. Yeah, or Donnelly, yeah. And, yeah, and that's a big building, and that's the kind of thing, you're like, well, what's going to happen if,
You know, we don't want to be caught unawares. I mean,
Right.
truthfully, I think you're right. This is, if it's not impending at the moment, it's certainly going to appear at some point in the near future, and we don't want to get caught, you know, look in the wrong direction on these things and get caught unawares. So, yeah,
I
I'd
guess
support
the
it.
question would be, Tom, what would, I mean, you brought it up, but not to put you on the spot, but I guess what would the expectation be for the discussion, or?
I think really see what other people are doing and what they're thinking about it, and what kind of things we'd have to confront. You know, it's funny because you hear about, you know, so I teach in a college, and I had students, and we talk about AI, and students this year, they were like, and up in arms, they're like, well, it kills our water sources, it's, you know, bad on electricity, and the whole data center thing came up, and then you see it in the news, and I'm like, well, water is one of our, I think one of the great things we have here.
What's the name of the Regional Economic Development Authority? What is that? It's,
Yeah, Central Virginia.
LRBA?
Yeah.
Or
Lynchburg.
yeah.
just the Lynchburg Economic
Would
Development
it be
Authority?
suitable for having a discussion with them about this? Because it would affect probably the surrounding counties. I would think those things
Well,
would
Margette,
crop up.
yeah, having Margette Glass come in should be one who'd recruit.
Well, the timing is right, because we're working on the comp plan,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it would fit right in.
Okay. So did I hear, maybe someone wants to make a motion to instruct staff to maybe do an analysis of our current zoning regulations around data centers and potentially initiate an update to the code if we feel like it's needed?
Yeah, I would make a motion, I'll make a motion if the city staff could put together a short report, or like, I don't know, 5 pages, or like a 30-minute, hour presentation on
Yeah, 'cause I don't know that we're actually ready.
data centers and what other communities are doing, and what we need to be considering and prepared for if someone were to bring that to us.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite at a point, unless someone wants to disagree, we're ready to create a zoning question by day, so we don't have enough information on it yet, but that would key back to what Tom's talking about. So maybe learn a little bit more about it so that we can think about if we're gonna zone, where these things.
Because I mean, they are currently allowed by our zoning, so that's,
What would it
It's a
fall under? Is it
possibility.
B5 or something? What would it fall under? I, B?
I think it's actually allowed in all of our business districts, which would be kind of concerning because B1 is supposed to be more, you know, limited,
Right,
small
businesses and
scale,
things,
you know,
yeah.
versus B5, which is, yeah.
So, and these things can range in size, I would imagine.
Rachel, does the city have a zoning for power generation facilities or agricultural zoning?
Do you mean like solar farms?
Could be a solar farm, but could be like just small power like if somebody wanted to put a large diesel generator somewhere, do we have, I mean,
I'd have to comb through our
Yeah.
list of approved uses and see if that falls under like a utility or like a
Yeah.
power generation or that sort of thing.
yeah.
So, is there like, you know, when we do cell phone antennas, you know, a lot of times it's conditional use type
Yeah,
thing,
it's-
like being able to hear a proposal and not green lighting anything that could have major ramifications without us hearing it.
An educational initiative, kind of.
Yeah, and you know, Chuck, you have experience in that stuff, you know what I'm saying?
The only reason I could explain the
Right.
battery thing is I happen to be in that industry.
Right, so I think that it would be good to, I mean, I'd entertain a second motion on that.
Yes.
A second, okay.
Yes.
All right, so all in favor of moving that forward, say aye.
So do it.
To actually, proposal, just to actually get us some information so that we could understand.
Areas that have these things and some of the things they encounter.
Yeah, and to be clear, you know, I'm not gonna, I mean, can we look at, as part of that presentation, do you think it would be appropriate to get some staff recommendations on areas that we feel like may need addressed? Obviously, the presentation doesn't change the zoning. We
Right.
still got to schedule public hearings and
Yeah,
all
I
that sort of
think so.
thing. Okay,
Yeah,
It doesn't need to be super lengthy.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And I agree with Tom, the cell phone tower analogy is a great one. I mean, just that it has to come forward we approved most cell phone applications that come before us, but it's nice to hear about them and see what's being done. And they're usually better as a result.
All right, let's go ahead and vote, because we didn't formally vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Great. Thank you, Rachel.
Rachel.
Thank you, guys.
Is the hospital plant up at Rooson's, you know, there below VES, is that used any kind of power?
As a generator? You know, I'm not sure.
The dam and all up there, kind of like the one further up the river there that Bedford County has? Is it
I'm not sure if that is
usable?
active.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is. I think it's a private company,
Gotcha.
AEP, or whoever used to own it, sold it to a private company, like based in Buchanan or something, Eagle something. And I think they have rights to Scotts Mill Dam and a couple dams along the river. So they're selling power back. They're generating power there.
Okay.
All right. Put my stuff away. That doesn't mean we're over until someone makes a motion.
I was going to say.
All right.
A motion that we are done.
All right. All right. Hearing no opposition, we will adjourn.
Thank you, guys.